sometimes see an actor, you can kind of see the choices that they're making when they're making them. Or like they can be kind of one dimensional, especially if you're playing a bad guy. So I think that was part of my goal, is like, how do we, in the short period of time that we see him, try to make him feel like a real person?
How you doing?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. I'm really excited to get to chat with you. I mean, as you probably hear all the time, I'm a big fan of yours. So it's
Thanks, dude.
Yeah, absolutely. It's an honor. And I
Awesome.
gotta say, The Wrath of Becky is another great entry into your filmography. I was a big fan of the first one, and I love your work in this one. What about the project, though, really sparked your interest to want to be a part of it?
Thanks so much for what you said, man. I appreciate it. I think, it was the opportunity to play a really different character. I loved the script. I hadn't seen the first Becky when the movie got offered to me. And I remember just thinking I was kind of on the fence with the character because it was just like a little unclear what I would do with it. But then I had some ideas and I was like, I like my ideas. I don't know how they're going to like them. They might be like, come on, you're the comedy guy. You're going to come to us with like these, ideas and how to kind of like shape the character. And they were, Suzanne and Matt were like really receptive and really like collaborative. And they're like, love this. And then they would make tweaks and just kind of the character came together. And that was it. It was just kind of like seeing a couple of these adjustments on the page is like, oh, this is the guy. I think, this would be a lot of fun to play. And that was it.
Kind of like you just said, I mean, this is a character that we're not used to seeing you play too often. This is sort of out of your normal wheelhouse, excuse me, except for maybe like Bloodline or Lethal Weapon, where this is a more dramatic role. What is that like for you, exploring, that range that audiences aren't generally used to seeing from you?
Yeah, it's great. I mean, I've been wanting to do all different types of, characters, and obviously been playing comedies, and I really love comedies. So to finally get a chance to at least just kind of experiment and have some fun and take risks is really creatively fulfilling. But then when it works out, like a movie like this, when I watched it, I was like, holy fuck, this movie is fucking awesome. It's like, and I didn't embarrass myself, that's the other thing. It's like part of my motivation. Don't ruin the movie. But yeah, I think I'm excited for people to see me do something a little different, but more than anything, I just love the movie.
It really is. I mean, I almost rewatched it as soon as I was done because
that's awesome. That says a lot.
I can't wait to do a double feature when it comes out with the first one because it's a great movie. Awesome. And I love how much like Kevin James in the first one, you really just dive in and make Daryl so terrifying. And so what did you find was one of the biggest keys to help you get to, the heart of this horrible person?
You know what? There's a couple things. Like I wanted to make him as dark as possible. And it was not just for the sake of making him seem scary or violent. It was like, once we established his background in, being a former Army Ranger, and then we kind of reshaped the monologue where he reveals that he killed one of his own soldiers because that guy was a liability. It was like, oh, now we know who this guy is and what he's capable of. And then we kind of peppered that with like, okay, why don't I like give this guy a palm strike to his nose twice and break his neck, and talks about wanting to play with Becky. It's like this guy, those things that was like helped shape the character. But I also felt like he didn't think that anything that he was saying or doing was bad, just felt like it was justified. It's just who he was. So I think what I was trying to do is just trying to make him feel like a real person. Because I think watching movies, and that's the reason why I act, is because I love movies so much that you can sometimes see an actor, you can kind of see the choices that they're making when they're making them. Or like they can be kind of one dimensional, especially if you're playing a bad guy. So I think that was part of my goal, is like, how do we, in the short period of time that we see him, try to make him feel like a real person? That was kind of all I was thinking about.
I appreciate that authentic approach to playing him, because that monologue in particular really felt real as he was going on, and it was horrifying. I was like, oh, this guy needs to go by the end of this.
That's awesome.
So I know you don't share too much screen time with her, but what was it like playing against Lulu as well? Because I mean, she has just become such a force to watch on screen throughout the recent years.
Yeah, because you're right. I didn't have that much interaction with her at all. I'd see her on set. She's kind of like me in the sense that we're like down to earth. Is that a weird thing to say about yourself? I don't know. We're like nice people. We know how lucky we are. And so she's just a wonderful, wonderful kid. And then when we filmed that scene where she's tied up, it was like, holy shit, I knew she was a fantastic actress before, but to actually be in a scene with her, I was like, she was doing so many different things. She had to be like terrified and then defiant. And I was like, and then when I watched the movie, and I thought, she carries this movie on her shoulders. She's 17 now, but she was 16 when she did this, and she does everything. She's a badass. She conveys like real like heartbreak and terror. She's also hilarious in different ways. So no, I think this is just like this is like a showcase, this movie. The last one too, but like this one is like, she needs to be a superstar. She needs to be in a Marvel movie. I mean, she needs to do it all, because she really is. I can't do 2% of what she can as a performer.
I don't know if I will agree with that part, but
maybe
I will
5%. Maybe 5.
I will agree though that she deserves to be a superstar. She's an incredible performer. And then this question's a little spoilery, so we'll save it for after the release. But I am curious. I mean, I love the original Final Destination, and yet here you are again, getting your head bashed by something. What did you have sort of a flashback when you were filming that sequence to way back in the film?
No, it's funny because I didn't even think about it. I did an interview earlier, and they're like, is this your first death scene? I was like, matter of fact, it's my second death scene. But I didn't realize, I'm like, I got my head cut off in that scene. I'm like, kind of almost get my head cut off in this one. I guess that's my theme. If I get the next time I die in a movie, got to get my head cut off.
Well, then, no Goon 3. I don't need to see Doug the Thug.
Exactly. No, Doug Glatt never dies.
No, he can't. He needs that. That man's a treasure. We need to protect him at all times.
Thanks.
For my final couple of questions, I did want to look outside of the film. I mean, I said it before, as a big fan of your work, I keep reading about a Dude, Where's My Car sequel throughout the years. And I'm curious, where's that at? Are you and Ashton ever still talking about trying to get that off the ground at this point?
No, we've never talked about it. Like, I always hear about it when I would do Conan, his show. He would always bring it up. He's like, you guys gonna make that seriously? Dude, Where's My Car? I'm like, we have to for you, man, because you're no, but I think the title alone is hilarious enough to like make the movie. But I would love to work with Ashton again. If there was a super funny, weird, fucked up script, for sure. But yeah, I haven't heard anything about it. So
I know you just said you want to, it to be weird and out there, but I mean, what would you like to see the characters be at 20 years later, in the film?
I haven't thought about it, but like either exactly the same, or like things have gone bad for them. Like maybe my character got fat, like he's fat. He's like, not that seems like that. You can be fat and have things go good for you, but like, just maybe he's like, things have gone downhill for him in every way. I think that would be fun to see those two guys where it's like, something happened. I don't know. Maybe it's like they hadn't seen each other in so long and they're like, it's a reunion and they get, super fucked up again. And then they're like, holy shit, we lost our car. And it's a whole new set of like, what did we do? We have to retrace our steps. I don't know. Do you have any ideas?
I don't know. I like that nostalgic trip right there. That sounds like a great.
But maybe is that Hangover?
No, it's you know what it is? It's Harold and Kumar 3. But hey, I mean, all these movies, they they can borrow similar plots and go off with them. So I think you could make it work. I want as long as there's a scene in El Segundo, because that was where I was born and raised.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So when you guys did the laundromat scene, I always get a kick.
No way.
Yeah, and then even role models with the El Segundo High School, I'm always like, hey, I know that spot. So
That's awesome.
It's always a kick. And then for my final question, welcome to Flatch. We haven't heard any news on it, and I know obviously the writer strike's going on right now, but I mean, are you hearing anything about possibly coming back for a season 3 on that one?
Not a thing. It's so weird because usually you think that like this. You cancel it. You know what I mean? Because I have no idea. And I also don't really know much about TV. So I guess maybe there's a chance they still might want to do another season. I feel like towards the end of the second season, it took a while, but it felt like it started to, I guess it does that with TV. It can take a couple seasons for it to really find what works, so we'll see what happens. But I guess the news is like they're going to wait till the strike ends. But things have changed so much in TV, especially with the strike and after the pandemic. It's like they're not making as many pilots anymore. They're going straight to series. So what the hell do I know? I have no idea.
It's become the Wild West all over again.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, whatever comes of that, I'm really looking forward to spreading the word about Wrath of Becky and rewatching it and people to get to see you in it, man. It's you do great work in it, and I think people are going to love it.
I really appreciate it. I really am really grateful. Thank you.
Absolutely, man. I hope you have a great rest of your week.
You as well. Great talking to you. Thanks again.